Before we start, put your hands together. Now we can begin. Now we can talk. Since we got all of that out the way, as I look at my son who's over here, welcome to a crazy edition of the Big Time Show that does not come on during this time. 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Some of you may be wondering, like, how in the world are you on here during this time? It's very simple. I'm not at work. Usually I do the ride early in the morning. For me to be on, I think y'all probably can figure this out. I'm not at work. I'm just not at work. Okay? I'm off work this week. Uh, make no mistake about it. I'm not at work. I'm off this week, so I'm making good use of my time. How about that? I'm making pretty good use of my time here. So I'm here. Welcome everybody to the Big Time Show as we continue on. I ain't gonna cry too much longer about Carolina. I'm not gonna keep talking about the same things over and over again. After today, personally, I'm gonna let it go. But because I'm on other shows, I'm gonna be forced to talk about this again when me and Amp come together, and then the OGs. When we come together, we'll talk about this just a little bit more. But personally, as far as my individual show, I will not be talking about this after today. Hopefully. So glad you guys are here. I really done slept on it just a little bit. Uh, and I still have pretty much the same conclusions. Yeah, I'm sharing it out. Would you share, please? Uh, yeah. All right. Who all on here? What's going on in here? Terry, what's up, bro? What you doing? You out? I mean, wow. Good to see you. Hello to those that are on Facebook. Hello to those that are on Twitter. And to the one person that's looking at me on Kick. That is the new channel that I'm on. KICK. Um, New streaming service that allows it to hear on Restream. Made up an account. So I'm just really getting started there. I'm not doing TikTok for some reason. I don't think I can get on TikTok for right now. Let me see. Can I? No, I can't. So it's all good. I'll be on TikTok on my next show. All right. Let's talk real quick. Tamika. Yeah. I'm using my time here. I'm using my time since I'm off work this week. I'm gonna come on now, you know, just to see what's going on. Appreciate you, whoever this is on Kick, Powerless. Okay, yeah, you're trying to sell something. I appreciate it, but I might check you out. Thank you so much. I might check you out. Tamika, hello. Rock Wavy, hey. These are the only people that have spoken so far. Let's see what we can do here. You're on lunch. I got you. Good. So I'm with the lunchtime crew. I don't really expect a big crew here. I really don't. Like I would do for my mistrial. I've never done a afternoon show like this, so this is my first time. So we'll see what happens. And, see what happens. You guys would help me if you would share and like the show. Hit that thumbs up button real quick before we really get started. Um, Go ahead and do that for me. I'm gonna share this out to one other place now that I just thought about it. Okay, give me a second. Give me a small second. Let's see here. Let's see here. Let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna do that too. All right. I just shared that out there. I just want to see how the number might get on lunch. I don't know who's on. Somebody else may be on right now. I don't know. I really didn't look. I ain't getting no notification on the phone. So Some of the brothers may be on. Some of the brothers may be on. I don't know. But if they are, then I should have got with them and said, hey, let's go and do it together and see what's going to happen. All right, let's talk real quick. I got really one thing that I want to talk about because I'm not in the, I'm about solutions. I'm really not about, consistent crying. The guys got a game this coming up Sunday against Washington. We need to say goodbye to Carolina in just a second. That's the way that the NFL is designed. You can't cry. You can't do all that. You got to move on. I'm moving on now. I'm quite sure after today, the Dallas Cowboys will move on and start getting ready for Washington. So that's just the way that I'm built. With 2-3-1, there's plenty of season left. The season is not over. You know, let's not get so emotional that we become, a little absent-minded in the head. The season is not over. There are things that are coming that are beneficial to the Cowboys. When I say that a CeeDee Lamb is coming back, and when I say that a Cavante Turpin is coming back, that means that the offense probably is going to even get better. When I say that a Tyler Booker is coming back, it's probably going to get better. The offense is probably going to even get more potent than it already is, and the offense is potent. There ain't no question about that. It's not the death of the Cowboys. Cowboy fans. We just, some just say let's get ready for the draft. All that type of stuff. I ain't built like that. I'm not. We got plenty more seasons to go. We can play with anybody. We can score with anybody. We just got one major, and it is major, one major flaw, and everybody know what it is. So I ain't got to dramatize this thing and build it up. Everybody knows it's the defense. Everybody know the defense is horrible. Everybody knows it. So then if we know it's horrible and we know who our defensive coordinator is and we know who the personnel is, and if you know the Jones family, why did I say the Jones family? I'm going to get into that in just a second. When I say the Jones, I'm talking about Jerry and Steve. When I say that, what in the world am I bringing them up in this conversation for when it comes to the defense? Let's go all the way back to the beginning and let's build this case. I was just on a chat with some of the DC Universe, in particular Stargazer, the great queen that she is. And at the beginning, you have to remember that Coach Eberflus was forced on Coach Schottenheimer. It was not Schottenheimer going to get him. It was Eberflus. Keep in mind, at the beginning, the Dallas Cowboys wanted Rex Ryan. If y'all remember that. Let's connect the dots. They wanted Rex Ryan, but Rex, of course, was going to cost a pretty penny or whatever, and they didn't want to do it. So Eberflus was not the first choice. He was kind of like the second choice. The second choice got there. Why would Rex Ryan come into play? You got to go back further. The reason why is because if you are old enough to remember, the New York Jets, those 2 years in a row that they went to the AFC Championship game, the defensive coordinator / head coach was Rex Ryan, and the offensive coordinator was one Brian Schottenheimer. If y'all didn't know that, that's the truth. Though they went to the AFC Championship game 2 years in a row. They didn't get to the Super Bowl, but they had success. Brian Schottenheimer was calling the offense. Rex Ryan called the defense. So they know each other, right? They did it for 2 years, had great success. They went to the AFC Championship game. So if you said that was the reason why Rex Ryan, well, that combination works, or it has worked. Didn't have no problem with it. With Rex Ryan and his defense, we all know that's an aggressive type coordinator who blitzes a lot, runs a lot of man coverage, does run a little zone every now and then, but he's an aggressive type coach. Bingo, bam. Kind of remind you somewhat of a Dan Quinn type coordinator. That's what Rex Ryan is. Quinn blitzed a lot. Quinn played a lot of man coverage. From that man coverage, we developed two all-pro cornerbacks in Diggs and Bland because they were man coverage cornerbacks. That's how they made the Pro Bowls. That's how they became all pros. They were man, y'all hear me what I'm telling you, right? That they were man press cover corners. That's what they were. That's what they were. Okay? That's what they were. So it's obvious why you will want a Rex Ryan and Matt Eberflus a second. But since Coach Eberflus got the job, he's now there. But who was it that hired him really? It was the Jones family. Don't that kind of remind y'all of the Kellen Moore, Mike McCarthy thing? Kellen Moore was forced on Mike McCarthy. Even though Mike McCarthy obviously wanted to call his own plays and Mike McCarthy wanted to go ahead and do his own thing, and it took him a couple years to get Kellen out of here so he can finally run the offense. And when he did, we still scored, we still did this, we still did that. But the Jones family said you can hire anybody else you want, but you got to keep this Kellen Moore dude, McCarthy. I got the feeling we're saying the same thing again. Schottenheimer did a great job of hiring his coaches, but it wasn't Matt Eberflus that he hired. It was the Jones family. So when you got a puppet like Kellen Moore and Matt Eberflus, and you really been hired by the owner and general manager / general manager of the team, you have some security. Because you're going to have to really do something real bad in order to get fired. No matter what the coach may want, no matter what the coach may want to change, no matter what the coach may want to do, the head coach, it don't make no difference because the Jones essentially have a covering over Matt Eberflus. So for all of you that are saying, hey, I want to fire Coach Eberflus. Hey, I want to fire him. He's gone. We just fire him now. Ladies and gentlemen, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Because of the history of the Dallas Cowboys, we all know that the Jones family loves trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. They do not do stuff like this. They do not fire people like this. They'll go the whole year. They'll go the whole year with a Mike Nolan. They'll go a whole year with a Kellen Moore. They'll go a whole year again with a Mike McCarthy when they want to get rid of. They'll do this. They'll go years with Connor Williams as your left guard when he was playing. They'll go years with Ezekiel Elliott, even though his knee was messed up and all that type of stuff. I get it. They're not going to do it, y'all. They'll go years playing with Jalen Smith, whose knee was just going crazy. Kept him in the starting lineup. Wouldn't go get no other linebacker. I mean, this is what the Cowboys do. So for all of you, and I will jump in with some of you and saying, for all of you that are saying, get rid of Matt Eberflus. Fire him. That ain't what the Jones family do. They would shock me if that would happen. It's not going to happen, y'all. It's not going to happen. It's not. And so what we need to do is let that go. Because on this Sunday, Matt Eberflus will be your defensive coordinator against Washington. So I'll let y'all keep saying fire Eberflus, get rid of him. Let's change it. It ain't gonna be no change, y'all. This is what the Jones family does. This is what the Jones family does, y'all. They see it, but won't change it. So since this is my argument, I hope I'm wrong, but I just don't see it. B Bird, appreciate it, my brother B Bird, or the OG podcast, Cowboys OG podcast, who I do a show with. I'll be with him this Friday, and I'm quite sure we're gonna talk about the game coming up. Of course, he says Flush says you hire me so you can't fire me. Exactly. This is the Jones family. A lot of people saying, Coach Schottenheimer has to do something. He can't do nothing. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Coach Schottenheimer can make some suggestions, just like McCarthy had problems with Kellen Moore's play calling. He can make some suggestions, but at the end of the day, Kellen Moore kept calling whatever he wanted to call. And guess what? The same thing is going to happen with Coach Eberflus. I'm just telling y'all. I mean, I don't even want y'all to get too excited. I don't want y'all to lose y'all hair. I don't want y'all to do all that. Look, ain't no sense of hollering at the screen. Ain't no sense of going berserk and all that. Ain't no sense of doing that. You know the Jones family by now. You know it. You know how the Jones family are. You know what the situation is. You knew that Coach Eberflus was the second choice. It was Rex Ryan at first. Some of y'all want Rex Ryan. I wouldn't mind having Rex Ryan myself, but ladies and gentlemen, we got to go beyond. We got to think with common sense. Nobody will take, well, somebody would take the job, but look at the turnover that would have to happen if you're bringing in somebody from outside. That person got to come in with their scheme. That person will have to come in. Not only would they come in, but guess what? If you bring in, I'm just going to use Rex Ryan for an example. If you bring in Rex Ryan don't want these. Rex Ryan will have to inherit the coaching staff that Eberflus has. You just can't fire the whole defensive staff in one. Y'all want to fire now. So Rex Ryan got to go get his brother because his brother going to come. No, he ain't. I'm sorry. Because his brother's at Ohio State. I'm sorry. But Rex Ryan got to go get other people to be on his staff. How you going to do that and get ready for Washington? Come on, y'all. We got to have common sense here. You can't do that. If anything, if there was a firing, one of those assistant coaches that's from the defensive end would have to step in. That way there ain't too much turnover. The language of the defense is still there. You don't have to learn nothing. You just call maybe a different scheme. Instead of playing zone 90%, you might play it 75%. You see what I'm saying? But you're not gonna turn over a whole coaching staff right now. That's just not. It's not smart. Actually, it's not smart. So if you fire Eberflus, what's your answer? You can't go outside. It's too much turnover. Guys will have to learn how this guy want to play. The new coordinator, Rex Ryan, don't play no zone defense like this. Rex Ryan don't just rush 4. Rex Ryan sometimes rush 6. He's a blitzer. He's a 46 type guy. Man coverage everywhere. That's just how Rex does it. That'd be something that this defense ain't never seen. That's another whole new scheme. I'm quite sure he can come in and whatever the base system is here, I'm quite sure Rex can get something done. He know more than 4-6 defense, but I'm saying that ain't his coaching staff. I'm just using him as an example. Whoever else you might think of. That's just too much turnover. So Eberflus is not going to get fired, y'all. I'm just going to go and tell. I hate to be I know I'm putting a bubble in a lot of y'all balloons right now. I understand that. I'm sorry. But it does not make sense to do it right now. It just don't. The Jones family are going to stick with they got because they want to prove everybody wrong. We all know this. We know this. This is what the Jones family has done for years since they are the ones They did this little hiring part, from back in the day. Not back in the day, just back in the off season. This is what they have done. You know what time it is. You know what time it is. I'm sorry, y'all. I know y'all don't like it. So instead of looking up there, Sports Junkie, my brother, where you been, dog? Good to have you back in the fold, man. Yes, I agree with y'all. I'm not disagreeing with the premises that Eberflus should be gone. I'm not arguing that point. But what I'm saying is this is not the Jones way. And y'all know that. So instead of saying fire Eberflus, if that's what you're saying, if that's what your whole thing, you can't just you just wasting time. Since Eberflus is not gonna be fired, he's not. Now we got to figure out what needs to be done since he's gonna be the coach, and let's see how stubborn he is going to be. He's already showing you that because he already went after Diggs in a slight way. When he talked about I don't like making grits. That was a direct shot at Diggs. So I don't think Diggs really liked Eberflus, and I don't think Eberflus liked Diggs too much. And yesterday, he primarily kept them in zone. He did the exact opposite than what he did against the Jets. The Jets playbook worked. 5 sacks, countless hits on Justin Fields, had 1 turnover. The defense did pretty good. We were raving about him. Folk were getting in. This weekend, he went back to the New York Giants playbook. No blitzing, no nothing. Just no nothing. Nothing. Now, I'll get to the run defense in a minute. Because I told y'all. Y'all didn't quite listen. Y'all looked at the stats and y'all saw how we were ranked against the run and y'all drunk that Kool-Aid. And I told y'all, I don't know yet. I told y'all teams were choosing to throw against us because everything was so wide open. We couldn't stop nothing in zone. We were getting lit up. We were getting destroyed by Russell Wilson and Caleb Williams. We were getting told cat raggedy by those guys. And you didn't have to run because you couldn't stop nothing. But y'all thought because we stopped Saquon in one time and then New York really didn't run the ball against us at all. They really didn't try. Chicago really didn't try to run. The Jets tried to run and they were successful, but when they got far behind in the scoreboard, the scoreboard, not the Cowboys, the scoreboard, the lead that we had, took the running game away from the Jets. It wasn't because we stopped the run. See, that's the part we got to be honest. And so I came in telling y'all against Carolina, this team that we going to play, they are going to stick to the run game. They will do it. They will run the ball against us. And we're going to find out, are we really good against the run? Well, I ain't got to say nothing. We got that answer, didn't we? So the way that I look at it is this way. We back at square one. Guess what? We can't stop the run, and we can't stop the pass. Are we back at square? We all the way back at the end of the last season. That's where we are. We're all the way back at the end of last season. We couldn't stop the run. We couldn't stop nothing up the middle. We couldn't stop nothing in the pass. We can't stop nothing. We are truly. We're not now. I think we ranked 31st, but we should be the last ranked defense in the league. We're the worst defense in the league. That's just the truth. So guess what? After these 6 games, you got plenty of sample size. Guess what? Your scheme does not work. So you got to change it. I'm not saying that you go to a 3-4, to a 4-3, or 4-3, to a 3-4, but it is obvious what needs to change. We got to do simple things, then take the chance. We really didn't just destroy the Jets, but we got pressure on the quarterback. We sacked the quarterback 5 times. The Jets, we got to pick. Guess what, y'all? The reason why is because you changed things. You didn't run zone as much. You decided to blitz. You decided to leave Bland and Diggs on an island. What happened? We beat the Jets. The defense looked real good. You asking me what the solutions are? Here we go. Here you go right here. Number one. Since we now know we can't stop the run, because we can't. I don't even want to hear it. Every time Rico touches the ball, 8 yards. Stop it. I don't want to hear that. Man, I almost had 200 yards against us. Stop it. Couldn't stop it if you wanted to. So, common sense, bottom line. Your front four cannot stop the run. Guess what? Run blitz. Hello. Run blitz. Run blitz. Run blitz. This is the change that's going to have to be made. And when you run blitz, guess what? That means your corners and your safeties are going to probably be one-on-one. Okay? One-on-one. I'm okay. You know why? Listen, Diggs and Bland. In case y'all don't forget, I don't care what y'all say. I know Diggs got beat yesterday off a double move. I know that. I know Donald Wilson got beat off a double move. But that's just what happens. Diggs always had got beat off double moves. That ain't nothing new. But this I do know. When they played man coverage, Diggs and Bland, they were all pros. That's what that scheme does for you. That scheme, man-to-man defense, I'm not saying you got to do it 98% of the time. I'm just saying you're not at a disadvantage, as some may think, by putting Bland and Diggs and let them play man coverage. Why they so far off the ball? Come on, y'all. Didn't I just say they were voted all pro and Pro Bowl and all that by playing man press coverage? Why they 8 yards off the ball? Why is that? Why is that? Why are they so far? Please explain that to me. It's 3rd and 3. Why y'all lined up 8-9 yards off the ball? That's the first adjustment. Line up on them. That's Eberflus. You taught them. Stay off the ball. No. I get 3rd and 8. I get that. 3rd and 2. 3rd and 3. Why you so far off the ball? What kind of sense do it make? See, somebody says Eberflus not going to get fired, y'all. I'm trying to drive that point on. Y'all know it just like I know. You don't like it, but it's true. Eberflus is not going to be fired. He's not. Okay? He's not going to be fired. So now you got to go inside there, since he's going to be there, and you got to make some changes. Number one, give Diggs what he's been begging for. Give him man coverage. If he get beat, then you can point the finger back in. You got to change it up. You can't go 95% zone and 5% man. No. Bring that thing on down. Bring it on down. Go 70% zone. Go to 30%. Because I'm not asking Eberflus to change the scheme, because the scheme does work. It just ain't working here. It's just not working here. These guys are not zone cornerback. These guys are man-to-man defense. They were all pros, I said, as playing that way. That's what Quinn had them doing. I'm sorry. I thought you were supposed to use the guy's strength to your advantage. Our cornerbacks Our man, or at least those two are. Our man coverage tight cornerbacks. You got to change it up. You got to change it up. You got to run blitz now. You gonna have to run blitz. You gonna have to run blitz. Because what Rico showed us yesterday and what Carolina did is this. We're not physical. Or at least we weren't physical enough. Let me put it that way. We got punked out. Call it like it is. We got punked out yesterday. We got punked out. This yesterday is proof to me that we have a coordinator that is locked in and very stubborn. He want to do things his way. You're supposed to adjust to your players, not to your scheme. Once you see your scheme don't really work with these guys, they not meant to sit back in the zone and just wait. No, they're attacking cornerbacks. They're gamblers. That's what Diggs is. They're gamblers. They're gamblers. That's their strength. That's how they made All-Pro. That's how they made the Pro Bowl. Gamblers. That's what they do. You got to implement what they do better into the system. You can't run 95% zone. You just can't. Or if you do, guess what? We're going to look like this every week. We're going to look like this every week. If he come out there against Washington, saying, hey, I'm going to stick to my scheme. I'm going to stick to my zone cover 3 stick scheme. Okay, you do that. Guess what? We're going to make Jalen Daniels look like the MVP of the league next week. Jalen might do it anyway. He's a great quarterback, great young quarterback. But if you just let him sit back there and just dissect you and let him run and scramble around and do all this stuff, he going to have a Hall of Fame type game. Just like every other quarterback had. Bryce Young had a great game yesterday. Game management, guess what? No problem. Best game probably of his career yesterday. That's what we do. You want to get your offense right, you want to have a get-right game, you go see the Dallas Cowboys defense. Your quarterback is just about guaranteed to have his best game in his career. That's what's so happened so far. I ain't heard nothing from Caleb Williams since we played him. I ain't heard nothing. Russell Wilson's on the bench. Russell Wilson threw for 454 yards, I believe. Come on now. And we made Bryce Young look real good yesterday. I'm just calling it like it is. You got to change this stuff up. Since he's not going to get fired, and since he's going to be calling the defensive plays, common sense tell me, after about all these games, guess what? What we are doing is not working. Now, if you want to keep it like that, just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, if you want to, I'm stubborn. My scheme works. We just got to tighten up this part. Keep running that same conversation out, and you're gonna get 35 points put on you every game. The sad part about it is we have players. That's why I know that, look, if we didn't have no talent on defense, I'll be saying something totally different. We got players. You got he has the blueprint. Go turn on the jet tape, see what you called, see what you did, and implement that. What did you do differently? You called a few more blitzes. Your front four did have a little, a little bit more penetration. I'll give you that. But you blitzed a few times. You blitzed a lot. I ain't gonna say a lot, but you blitzed enough. You got the quarterback. You got after the quarterback. We didn't do that yesterday. Come on now. Look, this is what Bear said. Look what Bear said. Bear said Bryce Young was 10 of 10 on third downs. That's embarrassing. Yeah, I mean, was that Bryce Young or was that Warren Moon? I mean, forgive me. Was that Warren Moon dressed up as Bryce Young? Did we play him yesterday? I mean, we have the tendency to make quarterbacks that are really not that great. We make them have their great moments. And once again, Bryce Young falls into that category. I thought there was Joe Montana out there or somebody. Just deadly. 10 for 10 on third down. Gosh, come on, man. It's obvious what needs to happen. And let's see. We don't know it until Sunday. But let's hear the talk. You know, the coaches ain't gonna let you know nothing. You know, when Eberflus have his press conference this week, you know, he'll have all the rehearsed, logical answers. Schottenheimer's not gonna throw, him under the bus, all that type of stuff. I'm quite sure they say they're getting it fixed. That's what they're gonna say. But, forget what they're saying. We'll see on the field. That's the only thing they're going to say. So what we're going to get this week is people like me and all my brothers and a few other sisters. They're going to be coming on. We're going to be saying what all need to be done. But look, if Eberflus is stubborn and has this vendetta against the players, with them saying what need to happen, and he's saying, essentially, you ain't in charge, I am. I'm in charge. If he's saying that in his mind, just like he said, I don't like the grits. I mean, as long as you got that attitude, then what you gonna like is these 30 points getting put on top of your head by everybody. Huh? And I see what y'all saying, Trey. Y'all saying trades, but look, I get it. Look, y'all. Trades ain't gonna help this. What good does it do to have get a trade for a great player, but you put him in the wrong scheme? I'm just serious. What difference do it make? You can go get Max Crosby, you can go get Trey Hendrickson, you can go get whoever you want to go get. What difference would it make if you're not playing them in the right scheme? If you're not playing according to their strengths, what difference do it make? Ain't no sense. I mean, seriously, I don't care nothing about that. If you can get 5 sacks against the Jets and your defense look a whole lot better, you can do that too. But you got to be committed to saying, look, I'm not going to run the zone 90% of the time. I'm not going to do it. Again, I'm prefacing that by saying, since we all know, once you get your little feelings out of the way, since you know that Eberflus is not going to get fired, okay, now we got to get to the game now. What can he do to make the defense better? It's simple. It's simple. 3rd and 3, don't have my cornerbacks 8 yards off the running, go wide receiver. Duh. It's simple. You can't stop the run blitz. Duh. Pass situations, stop rushing 4 and dropping 7. We've seen enough of that. It don't work. Our guys don't do what's on with. Okay, once you see that, guess what? Let's blitz. Simple. It goes against his theory of his defense, but that's what needs to happen to make this last ranked defense better than what it is. That's the only thing that's gonna save this. That's the only thing that's gonna save this. Sure, bringing in another player from the outside if he's great. Max Crosby, a great player. Yeah, that would help. Trey Henderson, I think that would help. Yeah, okay. Whoever else name you want to bring in, that's fine. I ain't got no problem with it. But that's really not the answer. The answer is your coach got to change stuff up. Your coach has to change it up. Your coach has to change it up. That's the only answer. Going to get somebody, and for those that joined in early, a little bit later, everybody talking about go find another D coordinator. Look, that's not going to happen. It's too much of a turnover. A new coordinator would want to implement his system, and you playing the Washington in a couple more days. You're not going to be able to implement your system, bring in your new coaches, all in a week time and get ready to play with Washington. It's not going to happen. Okay, that's too much of a turnover. If you brought in another running back, another D coordinator. Wherever you brought in the D coordinator, okay, he probably would have to inherit the position coaches. Okay, he would probably have to inherit the defensive coaches, and those are coaches that he don't. That ain't what he want. That ain't who he looking for. That ain't what he want. So bringing in a whole new guy, that's not quite the answer. Not at this time. That's too much of a turnover. Even though I personally thought that Rex Ryan should have been the defensive coordinator from the beginning. That was their choice, one of the choices at first. I thought that should have been it in the first place. It didn't happen. It's a perfect fit. Him and Shotty carried the Jets to 2 AFC championship games 2 years in a row. Shotty was the offensive coordinator. Rex, of course, was the head coach and defensive coordinator. It's already a perfect match. They got success together. They know what to do. I thought it would be perfect, but I thought that should have been done at the beginning. You can't do it right now. It's just too much of a turnover. Rex is a blitzing type guy. His defense kind of resembles Quinn's defense. It is what it is. I don't know. But since, again, I'm not even going to go down that rabbit hole because I truly believe that there's not going to be a change. There's not going to be none of that stuff. So you got to handle the business with the coach right there and got to make some simple changes. I get you, Willie. That's why run blitzing is important. You run blitzing, take care of some of those spots that they ain't doing. You have to do something to make up for the deficiencies. But you just can't sit in and just say we're gonna rush 4 and drop 7. You just can't. We done tried it. We got about 6 games. We done seen it there. That it don't work. It does not work. It don't work. Enough is enough. Because the Jones family, Cito, the reason why you can't bring up nobody is because the Jones family have their theory. Their theory is if we pay you, you're going to play. So depending on who you talking about off the practice squad, I believe one name that comes in is Malik Davis. Because see, Jadon Blue, that's another whole show by itself. I don't want to hear nothing about Jadon Blue no more, period. I don't want to hear nothing about Jadon Blue. This is the reason why I say we need to trade. If y'all talking about trade, we need to trade for another running back. Because if Javonte Williams goes down and we turn the keys over to Jadon Blue as our running back, guess what? We're in trouble. We in trouble. We in trouble. You wait on Phil Maffa. Phil Maffa is on the injured reserve list. Well, what we waiting on him for? What we waiting on him for? What we waiting on him for? I'm not gonna blame anything on our offense, William. I see what you're saying. I'm not blaming anything because see the defense is making the offense just about have to be perfect in order for us to even have a chance of winning. And the offense will not be perfect like that. That's where we are. The offense, in order for us to even have a slight chance to win, the offense has to just about be perfect. And that's just not gonna happen. So when you say we only scored 10 points in the second half, hey, guess what? They make adjustments too. Defenses make adjustments. If we thinking that Dak gonna go 5 for 5 for every game with 5 TDs, it's not going to happen. The bottom line is at the end of the day, how many points did you score? 27 points usually can win you football games. Usually 27 to 30 points a game will usually win you some football games in this league. You see what I'm saying? So no. And the Cowboys have no problem with scoring. That's why I'm saying, even now you got to project it. And I understand you got to play. But there's a lot of people thinking the CD is coming back this week. A lot of people think Turpin is coming back this week. That don't hurt. That don't hurt your offense. It helps it. They already can't stop this offense. No, I don't think too many teams can really stop this offense. That was just with Pickens and Tolbert and Flournoy. Now you put back CD in and Turpin. This offense is going to score. I ain't worried about that. I'm just worried about us scoring 30 and our defense giving up 31. That's all I'm worried about. The offense is going to move. They shut down Javonte yesterday. Guess what? Still put up 27. They couldn't stop Pickens. They couldn't stop Dak. They couldn't stop Ferguson. They couldn't stop Flournoy. They couldn't stop him. Offense ain't the problem. Offense is nowhere near the problem. It's just that if people believe, and that's what I'm saying, this is the time, for all these haters that can't stand that, you don't know football if you're talking about that. And yeah, I know that one drive at the end, the 2 screenplay were bad, but guess what? Like I said, if you're thinking that they gonna score every single drive, you done lost your mind. It's not going to happen. It's not. And at some point, can I get a defense that can at least make the punter punt at least twice a game? Can I get a defense that can hold team to just a field goal? I mean, since it's a bend but don't break type defense, can you bend enough just to stop them to kick a field goal, please? I don't remember too many punters that punt against us. I'm serious. I don't remember too many punters all the weeks. I don't remember punters punting against us. I don't remember it. Where? I mean, seriously. Can we? I know y'all won't give them 21 to 24 points. Okay. Can we just try to keep that at that instead of can we make at least 3 stops? The way the offense plays, if you can stop them 3 times, that should be enough. That's the difference between a 30 that's the difference between a 35 to 21 game. I'm disappointed, but I'm gonna let it go after this. until I talk about it with Amp again, and you guys will see that. And when I talk about it with the OGs and whoever else, I think we're going to do something in D.C. this week. So we'll talk about that. But I'm done. I'm on to Washington. I'm anxious to see, and I ain't going to know it to Sunday because, like I said, all the rehearsed answers will be there. You know, it is what it is. We're not going to know nothing until Sunday and see how did we play against Washington defensively. That's when we'll find out if there's been some type of changes. I ain't for the lip service. I could care less what folks talking about. I don't want to hear it. Show me on Sunday how we go at. That's all I want. That's all I want to see. And to be honest with you, the guys ought to have an attitude after getting destroyed and after getting talked about bad this week, like they gonna get talked about bad this week. They should go completely crazy. They should be ticked off. They should be angry this coming up Sunday. They should have a chip on their shoulder this Sunday. Nobody had to motivate them. You got your brains kicked in this Sunday. I mean, you should be ready to go Sunday. Nobody shouldn't have to tell you anything. You should be ready to go to work. So, here we go. You know, don't need no bulletin board material. It's Washington. That's all you need to say. It's a rivalry. It's the NFC East. Ain't nothing to talk about. You should be ready to go. Instead of getting punked out. Ladies and gentlemen, look, it's just common sense, y'all. Now, you really want the bottom line, and I'm done after I tell you this. Look, to win a football game, you have to win in the trenches. Both sides of the ball. You have to win on both sides of the ball in the trenches. Guess what? We got our butts kicked on both sides of the ball in the trenches. You're not going to win a football game like that. How you going to win when you get dominated? Definitely on the defensive side. Their offensive line destroyed us. And their defensive line shut down Javonte Williams. I mean, we still put up points. But it had to come through that in the passing game, obviously. It wasn't because Javonte was running so great. I think he had a 2.2 average yesterday. 13 carries, I think about 29 yards or something like that. It wasn't because of Javonte. Their defense shut down the run. That got them up top, but come out with the loss. We scored points. No, Jerry didn't want to talk yesterday. Because, see, he know he was going to say something bad, so he left it alone. So now we're going to wait here. He got time to cool off. And now what he'll do is come with the right rehearsed answers now. But I'm quite sure he's saying some of the same thing that me and everybody else have said about this defense. I'm quite sure the two words, wrong scheme, has come into play. I'm quite sure somebody done said about too much zone. I'm quite sure. I'm quite sure he never heard it. I'm quite sure he said it. Really. It's amazing, y'all. It's amazing, y'all. So, in closing, Eberflus is not going to get fired. It's not going to happen. I would be shocked if that happens. It's not going to happen. Okay? So since he's not going to get fired, what's the next step? Since he's going to be calling the defense Sunday, you got to change some stuff. If it's more, since we're going 90% zone and 10% man, you got to change that stuff. You got to bring it down. 70% zone, 30% man. You got to do that. This is what they're better at man defense. If they get beat, they just get beat. But at least they get beat doing what they do best. They're not doing best playing zone 90% of the goddamn time. That's not what they do. That's all I'm saying. So, if you're a Cowboy fan, I know you ticked off at the defense this afternoon. I know you don't like Coach Eberflus. I get it. But Coach Eberflus going to be your defensive coordinator. And you're going to have to rally behind him. And just simple stuff. It's just simple. If you start saying this, like you about to hear this week from all the content creators, guarantee you ain't nobody really talking about offense except Jadon Blue. And he don't need to be the number 2 running back. That's it. Ain't nobody talking bad about Dak. Ain't nobody talking bad about Pickens. Florida need to stay on the field. All that type of stuff. Now here comes CD and probably Turpin back. They get implemented back in. The offense becomes even more unstoppable. So ain't no sense in talking about that. We know what the offense can do. The defense is the one that we got to talk about. They're looking just like what they are. The number 1 offense in the league and the last ranked defense in the league. And you got a 2-3-1 record. You got a 2-3-1 record. That's what you get when you got the first ranked defense in the league and when you got the last ranked defense. I mean, you got the first ranked offense and you got the last ranked defense. That's what happens. This is what happens. And you got to change it. If you don't change it, we'll be saying the same thing next week. But Washington will put up 40 on us. I'm just telling you. All right. Appreciate all you guys coming with me on this lunchtime edition of the Big Time Show. I wasn't expecting all of you guys who I've seen before. Appreciate all of you coming to hang with me. Look for me this week, wherever you're watching me from. You can just keep the live notifications on. You'll be able to come with me easily. You'll be able to see me when I come on with AMP later this week. When the OGs come aboard, you'll be able to come see me then on that show. And then, of course, on the DC Universe, we'll be doing something on the DC Universe this week, I believe. We'll be together then. So we'll see you then, all right? Appreciate all of y'all. Y'all have a good rest of your day. I'll holler at you. This has been the one and the only, the Big Time Show.